This is CBC Here and Now.
Cabin owners are basically, they should not be in there. If they're trying to get stuff out of their cabins, it's too late.
Forest fires rage on in central Newfoundland. Tonight, we take you inside the Gander Command Centre.
Wonderful to have it back. The town have really missed it. It brings a lot of money into the town.
We're just one short week away from arguably one of the province's most iconic festivals. We bring you to Brigus, just ahead.
Welcome to Here and Now. I'm Carolyn Stokes. We begin tonight in Central, where forest fires continue to burn. 3 fires in the region are now classified as out of control. Our Peter Cowan is in Gander tonight. That's where one of the command centers is based. So, Peter, this fire has been raging for 2 weeks now, and it sounds like it's only going to grow.
And Carolyn, you can smell the evidence of it even here in Gander, which is about 100 kilometers away from those fires, because the smoke has blown into this area. But I want to show you what it looked like from the air, because the minister responsible for forestry, Derek Bragg, was up in a helicopter earlier today checking out this fire. And because of the smoke and the winds, they can't even actually get a good look at the front of the fire. The best they can do is take a look at the back. And that's just because all of the wind has been whipping up this fire, and it's made it difficult for air crews to attack, because if you can't see the front of the fire, then you can't get the water bombers in there in order to try and attack it. And because of the warm temperatures, you can't get crews on the ground to attack it at that level either. And so one of the concerns is absolutely the highway. It's going to be closed tonight, connecting the south coast of Newfoundland, the Bay d'Espoir Highway, with central Newfoundland, and they expect that it's likely going to be closed tomorrow as well. But the other concern here is property damage. And today I was in the command center, and the incident commander said there is evidence that already some cabins have been lost.
Paradise Lake fire cabins are basically in the fire. So the bombers have provided some foaming protection on those, but at this point we're no longer able to get in there. And I guess once the fire clears enough that we can get in, we'll do an assessment of any damage. Our record showed there's approximately 200 cabins in the area.
The other main concern that they have is the smoke and the direction of the winds. The winds have been out of the southwest, which has been pushing this fire north. And unfortunately, directly north of the fire is where communities like Bishops Falls, Grand Falls, Windsor, Appleton are. And so the warning for those communities is, even though they're not in any sort of immediate danger, is to get their community plans ready just in case, because air quality is absolutely going to be a concern as the smoke pushes north. And the other concern is that there may be little sparks or other things that maybe push north, which start new fires.
The biggest concern right now would be smoke, because smoke is going to be impacting most of the communities to the north of these fires. And then with the amount of smoke and material that's being thrown off them, our concern is also with any hot material that may be falling down from the sky. So we're advising people in communities to fire smart the properties in terms of making sure that properties are wetted down and that you got fuel and all that kind of stuff stored away properly.
The other concern is that fire crews are already stretched pretty thin after a couple of weeks of having to deal with fires. They are getting some help. Quebec has sent 2 water bombers, as well as what they call a bird dog, which is a plane that's able to survey things from the air and help coordinate the fire attack. So they're hoping that as conditions improve, that'll help them be able to attack the fire. But the minister is warning that with hot, dry conditions throughout much of central and eastern, there is likely going to be a fire ban, because they just don't want to have any more fires that they have to deal with.
Looking at imposing a, not so much a province-wide ban, but mostly a central and eastern wide ban for the island on all outdoor fires. So we're open to issue that later today or early tomorrow, and that's as a precaution, because we have our resources right now in Central. We cannot afford any flare-ups anywhere else, to be honest, and we have skeleton teams left throughout the province, and most of our resources are here in Gander, not off Gander area.
And so there is some help for folks that may be stranded because of the highway closure. In fact, the province just announced that there is a shelter being set up by the Red Cross at the Salvation Army Church in Grand Falls, Windsor. So anyone who's cut off and needs a place to stay, for example, they can go there to get some help. The hope is that conditions may improve tomorrow and they can get that highway open, but unfortunately it's not guaranteed. Reporting live in Gander, I'm Peter Cowan for Here and Now.
Well, the highway closure means access to emergency services has been disrupted for 2 weeks now. Many people have been left stranded. Dozens of people are waiting out the forest fires in the parking lot of a motel, sleeping in their cars just next to the Bay d'Espoir highway. Now, the manager of that motel is letting people use his facilities and serving food.
A lot of people that travel, especially if they're just going on a medical appointment or a family event, you know, they're not planning on spending vacation dollars like a motel room and meals, and restaurants meals aren't cheap anymore, and cost of food and gas. Running your car just in the parking lot could cost you $20 that you don't have. So, you know, it's frustrating on their part, and you know, there's only limited amount of things that I'm able to do for them.
And as Peter mentioned a moment ago, the Salvation Army's Emergency Disaster Services team is on the ground providing water and hot meals and support for those waiting to cross the highway. As of this morning, the group says it has already served more than 170 people.
Well, Peter touched on the weather for the weekend a little bit earlier, but just to show you what's going to happen, as far as those winds go, that's really the main concern through the weekend. If we take a look at what happens on Sunday, we're going to start to get into some pretty gusty winds, upwards of about 50, maybe even 60 kilometers per hour out of the southwest. So similar to what we're seeing today. And then as far as the rainfall amounts go, a lack of rain, and that's really not helping the situation. This is through Monday. Less than 5 millimeters of rain is likely in that time frame. So also special air quality statement because of those fires for Grand Falls, Windsor, Gander, and the Bay of Exploits at this point. And if we take a look at what's going to happen wind-wise, we'll see those winds out of the southwest. That's where they are now. They will switch to westerlies and then eventually northwesterlies. So the conditions for the smoke will vary quite a bit as we head through the next couple of days. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, definitely not helping the situation. 27 to 29 degrees through central. A couple of records broken today as well. I'll get into the full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. A lawsuit moving through the courts in Vancouver aims to expose the long-reaching harm caused by Mount Cashel, harm that stretches across the country. The proposed class action alleges 6 Christian brothers from the orphanage were moved to Catholic schools in BC, where abuse continued for decades until quite recently. Ryan Cook has more, but first a warning: some viewers may find this subject matter disturbing.
Joe Burke was acquitted of indecent assault in 1996 on allegations from 3 boys at Mount Cashel dating back to 1971. He was convicted, but the Supreme Court of Canada overturned those convictions, calling his alleged victims unreliable.
The man did what he did. He did it to me. He did it to a number of other people. He's a sadistic bastard. That's what he is.
Burke was convicted on a physical assault charge, but was given an absolute discharge in 1996. With the judge saying, quote, "It would obviously be in the public interest for a person of his caliber to return to the teaching profession." And that's exactly what happened. Burke was rehired by Vancouver College, a K-12 school. He taught and coached football there. Lawyer Joe Fiorante launched a proposed class action lawsuit last year, looking for victims of 6 Mount Cashel brothers transferred to Vancouver. A young man recently came forward, saying he was sexually abused by Burke at Vancouver College. He says it happened as late as 2009, nearly 40 years after Burke was first accused of abusing kids.
These allegations are part of a proposed class action lawsuit that alleges 6 Christian brothers were shuffled from Mount Cashel to Vancouver in the 70s and 80s. Fiorante says the schools, as well as the Archdiocese of Vancouver, ought to have known what these men were accused of.
Burke's time at Vancouver College ended in 2013. He was suspended with pay after forcing kids to kneel with their arms in the air for minutes at a time. He retired soon after. The lawsuit also names 5 other Mount Cashel brothers, including Edward English, Kevin Short, and Douglas Kenny. It says they all continued to abuse kids in BC after being shipped out of Mount Cashel.
Joe Burke has yet to respond to the affidavits in court, but certification hearings will begin on Monday. And that's where a judge will decide if this proceeds as a class action lawsuit or if the cases are split up into separate lawsuits. Now, the Archdiocese of St. John's was also implicated in this lawsuit at one point, but that's been stayed while the Archdiocese deals with bankruptcy proceedings. Still cleaning up the mess from Mount Cashel at home while a new chapter begins out west. Ryan Cook, CBC News, St. John's.
Eastern Health patients with low-risk pregnancies may not qualify for an epidural during delivery. The health authority brought in guidelines this week to conserve its supply of epidural catheters. Now, this is due to a global shortage that's expected to last through the summer. According to the head of the country's anesthesiologist society, some patients will be offered safe alternatives to help manage their pain.
We are absolutely committed that those women will receive other forms of labor analgesia, and we are committed to try to make the birthing experience as painless and as comfortable for women as we can, as birthing mothers as we can.
And Dr. McKean says it's not just childbirth. Epidurals are used in other procedures as well. Eastern Health and medical professionals are now prioritizing the limited supply. That conversation continues Monday on Here and Now. One other news, the Royal St. John's Regatta is behind us, but summer fun seekers can already look ahead to another popular festival. The Brigus Blueberry Festival is slated for next week, and after the COVID closures, the town is happy to have it back. Here and Now's Henrika Wilhelm reports.
After a 2-year break, the Blueberry Festival will take over Brigus once again.
It's nice to see the festival back on the go. It brings a lot of friends and family home, and where it's come home year, we are expecting maybe more than ever.
I'd just like to make a special thank to the community for not too much dispute of bringing it back, and hope that it's a great success.
An event that takes a lot of preparation.
We usually start in January. This year we were probably May, and we've been flat out ever since. A lot of planning, a lot of booking securities and talking with RCMP, booking vendors. A lot of work goes into it behind the scenes.
For 33 years, the event brings people and their money to the town.
The festival make a big draw for tourism and vice versa. And really the tourism part is is an added bonus. And we have such a historical community. There's people coming from everywhere. I see license plates from BC, Arizona, Quebec, unreal.
Everybody in the town basically benefits from the Blueberry Festival because they're spending money and bringing money into the town. Like, we have 3 restaurants now up and going in Brigus. It's not many towns can actually say that.
It's a lot more than just blueberries. The festival includes food, games, and music.
The Blueberry Festival has provided a natural stage for a musician, and we're really pleased that Nico Palo, as a Landfall Trust music artist in residence, is going to be the opening performance at the Blueberry Festival.
And it serves as a fundraiser.
We're saving up for a new fire truck. We need odds and ends like a new radio system or, new speakers.
The festival traditionally takes place in mid-August. This year's hot weather and burning fires elsewhere in the province call for some extra preparations.
We're making sure that we're going to try and eliminate some of the smoking in under the tent. And, just to make sure we keep it out of the bar system. So we're going to put some buckets out to make sure that they can take their cigarette butt and throw in the bucket instead of throwing in the grass.
The festival starts on Thursday night with traditional screech-ins before officially kicking off next Friday right here on festival grounds. Henrika Wilhelm, CBC News, Brigus.
Well, staying with fire safety, these high temperatures have many municipalities across the province bringing in fire bans. On the West Coast, residents are being warned to take a common sense approach around their properties.
Sure that it's not too windy. If it's really windy out, of course the embers and everything that's coming from the fire could potentially spread over to the grass or dry trees or limbs or up into the the foliage, so you want to make sure that you keep an eye on that. You should always have a shovel, a bucket of water, or preferably a garden hose alongside, just in case things start to get out of hand. Again, keep your fires small where possible, because again, the fires will grow.
Well, shifting gears now, fans of the original Degrassi series, which played on CBC TV from 1987 to 1991, probably aren't watching the news tonight because they're down at the LSPU Hall. That's where two Degrassi stars are having a little party. For the first time since COVID hit, the Degrassi Tour, an event that's making its way across the country, has come to this province. Superfan Jeremy Eaton sat down with the pair.
Wake up in the morning, gotta shake the feeling, I gotta face the day of school.
Stacy and I are in St. John's this weekend. We're appearing at the LSPU Hall. We're having a wonderful nostalgic evening of fun and conversation, and we're having a screening at the theater there, and we're just looking forward to meeting all of our Newfoundland fans.
It's been a long time. So I'd say 30 years ago, we were here doing Degrassi Talks, promoting Degrassi Talks. I remember being here with Neil Hope, who played Wheels. So it's been a long time, and we've been wanting to come back for 30 years. We made it, finally.
Don't think I can make it, don't think I can take it, I wonder what I'm gonna do.
When the show starts at 6:30, people will be seated, and we just quickly come out and say hello to everybody, talk a little bit about the movie, and then they watch the movie School's Out, and then we come back and we do a 1-hour Q&A. And we just interact with the fans and let them ask all their questions and share stories that...
Anecdotes, whatever comes out from like some of the questions people have good questions generally. So
what
it's
are
nice
some of the I guess better questions, or awkward questions, or memorable questions? Do you have any examples of stuff people might have asked you over the years?
Well, often a lot of questions are about relationships, what it was like offset. Characters, favorite episodes, things we didn't like about our characters, how close are we to our characters.
And people are invested. They really kind of want to know why Caitlin and Joey didn't end up together.
You were Tessa Campanelli?
No.
So I spent a good deal of my life trying to escape the show. After it ended, there was a lot of time where needed to rebuild and figure out what we wanted to do with our lives. And for me personally, I was trying to avoid being typecast and to escape the show. And now I think we're finally at a point in our lives where we're ready to embrace, we have embraced it fully. And we enjoy talking about it. We enjoy reminiscing with fans. And fans remember so much more than we do. I feel like that's one of the great things too about doing this is they'll bring up like very specific things from episodes, and I'll be like, what? That happened? My character did that? And it really brings us back, and I love it.
Did you always feel the same way about the show, or did you try to escape it as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think we all did. Because it was such an intense part of our lives for many, many years, that once we left the show, it was like, okay, now what's the next stage? What's the next step? And some of us went off to university, some of us started careers, families, and then, the Next Generation aired in the early 2000s, and that brought Stacy and I back to the Degrassi series, where we spent at least 5 seasons together on that. And then again, I went through that phase where it's like, okay, I'm done, I'm over it. But now we're in our 50s, and many of our fans are in their late 40s, early 50s, and we're all at that point where we're feeling kind of nostalgic. And that's kind of what this show is all about that we're doing tonight here in St. John's. It's just reminiscing, gathering, getting together. I have people who are calling up their old high school friends saying, we've got to go to this Degrassi reunion tonight. This is fun. We used to watch that show growing up. And that's kind of what the vibe is. We want to just let people know that, hey, we made it through those awkward years, and now we're in our 40s and 50s, and we've made it through to the other side, which is fun.
Yes, we made it. So we survived, and that's what it's all about. Everyone, we survived our high school years and the aftermath.
Take one.
Everybody get ready and get into gear.
No, we were in the courtyard here. We're at the lovely Murray Premise Hotel, and a gentleman was, is it busking? Is that what you call it? and playing his guitar, and I'm just sitting here having a drink with my wife and Stacy, and all of a sudden he starts playing "Everybody Wants Something." I'm like, oh man, come on! And he's just giving me a little wink. I'm like, hey, dude.
Call them out.
Everybody wants something, now take your money and never give up.
It hurts, man. It hurts so
It
much.
hurts all of us.
It hurts all of our ears. We did know how to sing. We didn't know how to play instruments, but we had to learn, and we had to get through it. And
Did you, though?
even the crew didn't want to hear us play that song on set. So, but it's endearing. I've met a lot of real musicians who have said, "Man, that song, man, that got me into music. That made me think if he can do it, I can do it." And we have a lot of great covers of that song out there on the internet for people to find.
Better covers.
Better covers.
Well, a hot start to the weekend. Heat warnings still very much in place. We'll talk about that and some records as well when I come back.
With all of this beautiful sunny weather we've been having, how diligent have you been about protecting your skin? Coming up, we'll speak with a dermatologist about how to stay safe in the sun. Well, Ashley, it was a scorcher in St. John's today, my goodness, but some people took to the hot pavement to perform.
That's right. It's all part of the annual St. John's Busker Festival, so have a look.
Take the magic egg, we throw it up in the air. Lands inside the bag. You show your hand empty. That's really important when you're a magician. You're going to reach inside the bottom of the bag, and if it works, you'll get a magic egg just like this one. That's what I was going for. Good. Okay.
Check that out, everybody. Make some noise.
Woo! So my show is an 80s circus show, so it's lots of 80s music. I'm dressed in spandex, it's aerobics themed. I hula hoop, I juggle, and do a death-defying, one-of-a-kind finale at the end.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Go with the rockets! Make some noise!
So I started kind of my summer tour in Winnipeg, doing the Winnipeg Fringe Fest, and I'm here, very excited to be here, and then afterwards I'm going to be doing Edmonton Fringe Fest. So little summer tour, it's very exciting.
Oh, make some noise!
I've been involved in circus since I was 13, so about 9 years, and I started with my brothers performing, and this is my first year kind of going out and doing it on my own.
Yeah! And my favorite part, everybody! Freestyle! Yeah!
That looks like so much fun. So hot, though, to be at all of that physical activity down on Water Street today.
Yeah, in fact, it was a record breaker today.
Really?
Yes, in some cases, or most places actually, across the province. Let's take a look at those records today here in St. John's. 29.5 degrees, so that broke the previous record of 28.2 in 1993. Didn't quite make the 30 degrees, though. We needed 0.1 degree more. Gander and Badger both in 31.5 and 31.2 degrees today, and those broke the records from 2001 and 1940. So definitely seeing lots of records this afternoon, and then definitely still have that heat warning. That's why we have that heat warning in place through parts of Central. This should end tomorrow, though, when those temperatures dip below the warning criteria. So temperatures today across the rest of the province, still quite warm. Deer Lake 25 degrees, Lassie 26, and then up across Labrador your temperatures were hovering anywhere from 18 to 22 degrees through the afternoon today. Now you factor in that humidex, though, still it's muggy out there. 27 degrees right now in St. John's, but it's feeling more like 32, feeling more like 37 in Gander at the moment. And it feels more like 30 in Deer Lake. So certainly lots of humidity. We will see a little bit of a break in the humidity tomorrow, but it will return as we head into Sunday. So what we have on the go right now, area of low pressure and a couple of fronts along with it. We're also seeing some lightning through the north, basically along the northeast coast. And in fact, earlier today around 2:30 this afternoon, take a look at this. Some lightning hitting a long liner there in Twillingate. Nicole Ruth shared this video. She shared a video, but here is a screenshot of that lightning hitting it. So definitely, that's the reason why they say when thunder roars, head indoors, because definitely there's the potential to get struck by lightning, and this was a great example of that. So if we take a look at the future tracker, the risk of thunderstorms should end in the next couple of hours, and the future tracker is showing that as well. That moves offshore. Not a whole lot going on through the overnight tonight, just some cloud cover, maybe a few showers along the south coast, Burin Peninsula, southern Avalon as well. Quiet up across Labrador through the night. And as we head even into the early morning hours, you may see a few clouds move in, but overall another cool night expected for Lab West, only going down to about 7 degrees tonight, otherwise between 10 and 15 for the rest of the Big Land. And then similar temperatures for the majority of the island, with those winds out of the northwest between 10 to 15 kilometers per hour. So that's why we're seeing that cool down. Temperatures still out of the west the further east you go, which means the temperatures are going to stay mild tonight, 18 to 19 degrees through the overnight. A bit breezy though, 20 to 40 kilometer per hour winds. As we head through tomorrow, not really a whole lot. Showers again, though, the story for Labrador through the afternoon, and then really not much going on across the island in the way of showers, even cloud cover through the day. We may see a few showers in the morning for the east. But other than that, those winds are going to shift, which means the temperatures are going to be a bit cooler through the day again tomorrow as well. So 21 degrees is what I have in St. John's with those winds out of the north. And then further east, or further west you go rather, temperatures a bit warmer. So back into the 20s, mid 20s really through the afternoon. Grand Falls, Windsor, Gander as well. And as you head towards the west coast, those temperatures, there we go, sticking a little bit. Temperatures for the west coast are going to be similar, so 24 to 26 degrees through the day with lots of sunshine. So a beautiful Saturday really, but the humidity will be a bit less than what we've been seeing. St. Anthony 22 degrees, 21 in Cartwright, and again that chance of showers, the story for Lab City as well as Nain with your temperatures into the 20s. And we do have some more rain on the way, a little bit on the way as well for Sunday for the island, but I'll get into the long range forecast when I come back.
Well, this has been one of the sunniest summers in recent memory, and it makes it all the more important to make sure you protect your skin when you're out having a day like this at the beach. Joining me now to talk more about this is dermatologist Dr. Kamal Olsen. So can you give us the basics here? If someone is out at the beach or enjoying the day, enjoying the sun, what should people keep in mind?
Well, I think it's important to note that we're coming out of COVID-19 or trying to. People are outdoors because of distancing, and the most important thing is not to forget protecting your skin, and different ways of doing it. Obviously, a good sunscreen is important. What the Canadian Dermatology Association recommends is at least an SPF 30. If you have SPF 50, that's great. Put it on 15 minutes before you go out, and the important thing is how you apply it and how you reapply it. Okay, so 30 mils or 30 grams will cover our whole body. So you don't want to forget areas that sometimes we tend to forget, okay? The nose, ears, in front of the ears, because if you're wearing a hat, the sun's rays can come from the side. Back of the neck is an important area. Back of the legs, I mean, if you look at, you essentially want to apply sunscreen in all sun-exposed areas. That's the bottom line, and reapplying every 2 hours would make sense. And if you look at a day like today and you see the kids out swimming, okay, sunscreen can wash off. So it's important that some of the sunscreens which have a water resistant sign on it, essentially they're telling us that they will wear off in about 40 to 80 minutes. We sometimes tend to forget that getting the sun's rays off the water, getting sun rays off the snow, right?
The reflection of it.
The reflection of it, and many times on a Mazi day when it's cloudy, we think it's best kind to go on out. But I think if we make it a routine, like some of my teachers in Ottawa where I trained in dermatology always recommended, you always put your sunscreen next to your toothpaste. So before you go out, you have it on. When you're looking at going out, plan your day, okay? So from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the afternoon when the sun's rays are high, it is beating down today, okay, I would plan my activities. If you're having your tennis lessons or your golf or you're playing soccer early morning or late evening.
How important is it for someone to avoid getting a sunburn altogether? I read someplace that just even one sunburn alone can dramatically increase the likelihood of developing skin cancer.
Yeah.
How important is it to avoid all sunburns?
Well, it's really important because the most important thing in causation of skin cancer is UV exposure. Technically speaking, the UVA, which causes DNA damage, it's a cumulative damage. So it adds up every time you get multiple sunburns. So multiple sunburns will have higher risk. But obviously, you want to kind of mitigate and reduce your risk. And the key message is really, protecting your skin. So if you have one sunburn, it does increase, but the cumulative damage from UVA and B is the key.
Well, some great advice in there, Dr. Olsen. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks.
Well, the Bay d'Espoir Highway is closed again today as crews fight forest fires in the area. The fire has been burning for just under 2 weeks, and smoke and poor driving conditions have caused the road to close multiple times. And for those who are stranded, waiting to cross the highway, the Exploits River Motel and Restaurant has been there to offer some relief. Manager Rick Larocque joins us now. So first of all, can you start by telling us how things are looking out there today?
Not very good. The temperature is up, as we know. It's in the 32 mark, plus the extended range for it. But the wind has started there in the last hour. It's got a lot of gusts. It's coming back northerly again. So I'm sure I know the firefighters haven't been on the site much today because of the weather. So it's lots of smoke on the go. It was thicker earlier. It's clearing up now with this wind, but yeah, the mood is quite glim. A lot of the stranded people were sort of hoping to get across today, and that's not happening.
Can you tell us about some of the stories that you're hearing from people who are trying to cross the highway?
Just a couple of the obvious ones. One of them being, like somebody had a funeral to go down to, and then there's of course the travelers, some from the mainland, Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, that are going down to see family, and they only got a short window of time, 2-3 days, and they're going to spend 2 of the days here, waiting to get across. That kind of stuff. There was a young mother with a child who had a car breakdown and had to take a cab here from Clarenville, and to no avail because her ride from down Bay d'Espoir didn't happen. So there's lots of those little stories, and there's not much relief we can do once we're booked up and full. It's disheartening in seeing that there's not much here else that's happening. The Salvation Army is here with their emergency services and offering drinks and lunches, and they were here this morning again having breakfasts. We in joint effort together, we put coffees and teas on with them, and they served up breakfast for the waiting crossers, which never ended up happening.
So are you completely booked up? Is the motel booked up?
Yeah, for tonight I am, and tomorrow I guess there's a wedding in the vicinity, so that was pre-booked weeks and months ago, so I don't have very many vacancies on tomorrow's roster either.
So what happens if someone is in the area, they go down hoping to be able to get across the highway but find out it's closed, and you're fully booked up? What do those people do?
Right now there's, if not there's 20, there's about 35 cars sitting out there with people sitting in them, and they come and check in with us periodically to see if we have any cancellations or book rooms available, or if there's any news on the highway.
What's the mood like among those people who are stranded outdoors in their vehicles, and even the people who are staying in your motel? What's the mood like overall down there?
A lot of frustration. In this heat, everybody's, I won't even use the word tempers, but I haven't had any disgruntled people at all. They're just sad because there's not much anybody can do. And, I think the province has been sitting on this a little long, so we'll see what happens. There's been some calls made to the, not just to the Salvation Army, they're here doing something, but the Red Cross. Apparently they were having meetings with the province today to see if they could set up a check-in and stuff, so, where we could process some people and put up some temporary shelters.
Yeah, can you talk a bit more about that? What would you like to see the province doing right now to provide some relief to those people who are stuck in their vehicles?
It would be nice if, something had happened from the province, but I just don't know. Maybe our MHA, Elvis Lovelace, or the other gentleman in the area could have been down here themselves, talking to the people. These are the people that were elected into their district.
You're obviously, limited in what you can do. You're limited to the capacity that you have in your motel. But what has this been like for you to know that those folks are out there, they're uncomfortable, they're sitting in the heat, they're sitting in their car? What's it like for you not being able to just welcome everyone in?
It hurts. I'm a giving person. The people that know me, that if I got something and you want it or you need it, you can have it. And the owners of the motel have pretty much given me the, the okay to do what I see fit, so whatever's needed, we're doing. Like I said, I'm available all hours if somebody wants to go in and use a comfortable washroom. We have 2 nice new washrooms in our restaurant. So, when I go to bed at night, I make sure that there's a sign on there with my number on it so that if anybody does need to get in, there is a accessible washroom that they can get to. And after and before hours, I'm down there before opening it up, letting the people in. So.
Well, in some ways it's a good thing that you're there at this point in time to offer what you can. Thank you so much for this, Rick Larock. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you.
So today we decided that we wanted to show our commitment from NLCU to diversity and inclusion, and so we're actually painting the fence next to our corporate office here on Water Street, and we have it painted in all the classic rainbow colors. So we thought it was a great time to do it. It's the Busker Festival's on, the pedestrian mall, and it really changes the look of the fence and really sends a great message out there.
On Prince Edward Island, restaurants continue to face a major staffing crunch this summer. It has many in the industry asking what needs to be done to attract and hang on to workers. Well, one prominent island chef is serving up a suggestion: get rid of tipping. Steve Bruce explains.
It's probably a safe bet that just about every one of these customers dining out in downtown Charlottetown will tip their server at the end of their meal at least 15%.
Like if it was really terrible, we would still tip. If it was really extraordinary, we would tip more.
I find personally that it's important to give better tip than in the past. So I'm always going to 20 to 25% all the time now.
Tipping at restaurants is just standard practice in Canada. Here at Gaia's Urban Eatery, those tips are pooled and dished out equally to all servers and kitchen staff. Server Hallie Quinn says she depends on her tips to get by.
$14 an hour is what I make, and then in tips, I don't know, it ranges from like $80 on a good day to probably more on a very good day. As a server, I think we do rely on it a lot.
But Island chef Michael Smith says it's time for tipping to go away. He and his partner own the Inn at Bay Fortune and run its high-end restaurant. They have a no-tipping policy here and instead just charge more for their food, which they pass on to all their staff through higher wages and benefits. Smith thinks other restaurants, many of which are struggling to find enough workers right now, would be wise to do the same.
Doesn't work. We need to pay everybody fairly. And tipping does not correlate with service. It only ever correlates with sexism, with misogynism, with racism. It's not a fair system. Everybody deserves to be fairly paid, transparently, not wondering and dancing this ridiculous thing that we only do in North America with the tip.
The industry association Restaurants Canada says Smith's no-tipping approach is becoming a bit more common across the country, though it's still rare.
It's a part of our culture. It's hard to get people to change their behavior, and people are used to having the option. Customers are used to having the option to determine the value of the tip, and so some other restaurateurs may not be as open to it.
Gaia's owner has no desire to get away from tipping. He says his staff appreciate being rewarded for good service, and he worries higher menu prices would drive customers away.
You're making the customer pay more money because you want to compensate your employees more. As a customer, you didn't give me a choice. We're not in Japan. I can't see that happening, to be honest.
Hallie Quinn, for one, says she would support dropping tipping and bumping up her wages. That's as long as it didn't add up to less money in her pocket than she's making right now.
If I knew that I was going to get paid just as much and I had that comfort in knowing, I think I'd be okay with that.
Steve Bruce, CBC News, Charlottetown.
Let's find out who's celebrating. Congratulations to Pleeman and Sadie Rimmer from Lewisport, who are celebrating their 66th wedding anniversary. Happy 53rd wedding anniversary to Edward and Alvina Power of Spanish Room. Wishing Walter and Anna Reed of Norris Point a happy 69th anniversary. And it's a golden anniversary for Wanda and Kevin Courtney of Burnt Islands. Happy 53rd anniversary to Ruth and George Colburn of Carbonear. Anniversary greetings going out to Milton and Elsie Fudge of Triton on their 62nd wedding anniversary. Ethel and James Sims of Cornerbrook are celebrating 63 years of wedded bliss. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Colleen and Melvin Gale of Codroy Valley. Patsy and Jimmy Powell of St. John's are celebrating their 57th wedding anniversary. Anniversary greetings going out to Lloyd and Sarah Rossiter from Ramia. It's their 55th anniversary. Happy 53rd anniversary to Teresa and Charles Daly of St. John's. Wishing Betty and Davis Knoll of Freshwater Conception Bay a happy 56th anniversary. Happy 58th wedding anniversary to Winston and Palma Pretty of Shearstown. Anniversary greetings going out to Charlie and Marion Cook, who have been married 52 years. Happy 61st anniversary to Harold and Penny Duffett of Catalina. Best wishes going out to Roy and Carol Weir of Little Bay Islands, now living in Paradise. They've been married for 59 years. Congratulations to Fred and Geraldine Miller from Kilbride on their 66th wedding anniversary. Happy 50th anniversary to Clyde and Jeanette Soper of Northwest Brook. Happy anniversary to Stella and Rivelin Galway of Gander. They are also celebrating 50 wonderful years together. Happy 50th anniversary also to Cliff and Josie Moores of Red Bay, Labrador. Wishing Percy and Alice Brown of Little Harbor East a happy 58th anniversary. Happy 64th anniversary to Walter and Vera Matthews of Kippens. 54th anniversary greetings going out to Ronald and Gertrude Moland of Musgrave Harbor. Happy 54th anniversary to Lorraine and John Nolan of St. John's. Happy 70th wedding anniversary to Joan and Graham Butt living in New Harbor. Now to some birthdays. Happy 90th birthday to Shirley Tulk of Shea Heights. Happy birthday to Rita Squires, who's turning 91. Wishing Margaret Dollamont a happy 90th birthday. She's from St. Joseph's Cove and now lives in St. John's. Happy 93rd birthday to James Houlihan of Jersey Side, now living in St. John's. And it's a 95th birthday for Don Sweetapple of Glovertown South, now living in Gander. Birthday greetings going out to Willis Young of Burlington. In this pic, he was 19 and now he is 90. Happy 93rd birthday to Madonna Shanahan of Cornerbrook. Happy 94th birthday to Mabel Flynn of Porto Labrador. Happy 90th birthday to Melita Higgins in Cornerbrook. Wishing William Squires of Sibley's Cove a happy 94th birthday. Best wishes to Leslie Rouses, better known as Buddy, who is celebrating a 90th birthday. Happy 90th birthday also to Lily Ivany of Mount Pearl and Random Island. Happy birthday to Oliver Wellen, who is turning 90. Happy 92nd birthday to Leah Day from Fortune, now living in CBS. And happy 98th birthday to Annie Berry from Marisheen, now living in Placentia.
Well, unfortunately for those of you up in Labrador, you're looking at some more unsettled conditions as we head through the day on Sunday, and that's thanks to an area of low pressure and a cold front that's going to move through, and this cold front is going to bring some cooler temperatures as we head through the afternoon. Now, it will do the same for portions of the island as we head into Monday as that continues to sweep through. So taking a look at the temperatures for your Sunday, you can see that drop in temperatures between 10 and 14 degrees for you in northern Labrador as well as the west. Otherwise, we're going to stay into the 20s for a good chunk of the afternoon, but as that cold front moves through, you'll see those temperatures dipping. Another warm and humid day on Sunday for the island. Again, you'll see showers move in later on in the day for essentially the western half of the island, and those temperatures will be sitting somewhere between 24 and 29 degrees again through the day on Sunday. Taking a look at Monday's temperatures, there's that drop that I was talking about, down to the teens in some cases or just the low 20s. But again, it's going to bring that chance of showers, and then this will be the start of a cooler trend as we head through the middle of next week. It is good though. We do need this rain and these cooler temperatures as well, anywhere from 18 to 21 degrees expected for St. John's and eastern Newfoundland. We're looking at a similar cool down for central Newfoundland, although not as wet, with either cloudy periods or sun and cloud through Wednesday, and then those overnight lows dipping into the single digits. For eastern Labrador, a few showers on Monday, but then by Tuesday and Wednesday, those temperatures are going to start to climb back up. And for western Labrador, we're looking at a similar trend as far as those temperatures go, and also some drier conditions for both Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday, we're looking at a mix of sun and cloud. Take a look at this beauty. This is a lovely shot of the sun setting over the fish plant in Burnt Island. So thank you so much to Martin for sharing that. If you have any weather photos that you would like to share with us, send them to Facebook, Twitter, or email them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Oh, beautiful sky. The color's gorgeous.
Great way to end the weekend.
Yes, 18 degrees next week.
I know,
That's going to
it's
feel
gonna
chilly. My goodness. Well, enjoy the warm temperatures while you can, and have a great weekend.
Good night.